Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to S2C TV. You're invited to partake in a new era as we move on to our 6th Square Rally event. But what is this new event? We join hosts the Kiwi Dragon and Bobbledink now as they introduce us to Television Takeover. Hello everyone, my name is the Kiwi Dragon and I am one of the hosts of the upcoming event that we're about to talk about today, and joining me, currently on screen to my left, is the co-host of the event, one Mr. Balding.
Hello YouTube watchers, how you doing?
To say at least I'm doing okay. I don't know about the YouTube watchers. They'll have
to
tell us in the comments down below. But
yeah.
No,
please do, otherwise I won't sleep tonight.
Oh, absolutely. we must know how they're doing. We, of course, are here today to introduce you to the newest Square Rally event that's coming up, the 6th Square Rally event, the first of 2025, that being Television Takeover. But you might be sitting there at home wondering, but what is Television Takeover? So we're here today, we're going to break that down for you. So basically, Television Takeover is a Square Rally event, which is how we refer to all of our tournament-based events now, whether they're just single-day events, such as the Jackbox Gauntlets, or span multiple days, weeks, and hopefully not months. And we really hope not years. We've not had to do years yet, and I really hope we don't. But
no,
we'll see.
Not for a Square Rally anyway.
Not for a Square Rally, at least, anyway.
No, sorry, too soon to say that, but yeah.
No, we won't go down that path. So, a bit of background here. So, Television Takeover has been something that I've had in the pipeline now for at least almost a good year, maybe and a half, almost. Basically, it started out life as BBC TV Takeover. It was going to be a spiritual successor to Nickelodeon, which, to be fair, for me, has been my favourite of the multi-day events that we've done so far, at least from a spectator's perspective. I think it was the best in terms of format, in terms of the games available, in terms of the people who were involved, and just in terms of the enjoyment factor of all of it. And, even if I did later on find myself in an exhibition match, which, probably also helped it a little bit as well. But yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a spiritual successor to Nickelodeon, but featuring games based off properties owned by the BBC, otherwise known as the British Broadcasting Corporation, with the intention being to highlight shows that they produce, such as Doctor Who, Robot Wars, The Weakest Link, and countless more. And yeah, so this has been in the works since November 2023, but in 2024, December 2024, the focus was shifted away from just properties owned by the BBC. Basically, I had a discussion with a lot of the Square Charge admins who were like, well, do we have enough properties there to make just a solo BBC outing work? And I thought we did, but at the same time I was like, well, it seems also really restrictive, and to be honest, when are we going to get a chance to do many of these other ones? Because I don't think we're going to get too many more events based around television networks. So why not just open the floodgates now rather than having to, trickle them down later on? So yeah, as a nod to the intent of the original event, we have kept the BBC style branding. But yes, we have opened the gates to video games based off TV shows of any kind. So the world is your oyster, basically. Absolutely. I mean, you probably got some off the top of your head, Rodri. I dare say that you are probably interested in seeing.
What, in terms of games?
Yeah, based off the TV shows.
Based off TV shows. I mean, to be honest, I was a massive Disney Channel kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that a lot of those shows had DS, GBA, PS2 type games and whatever else.
Sure.
I learnt recently that there was a GBA version of American Idol, where you like sort of input buttons and whatever.
Yeah.
But there are actually like voice clips on the game, which was like really revolutionary for the time and things like that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff out there, and I'm kind of interested to see how it will like transpire, really.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, for myself personally, events like this really expand my gaming palette, because before I was ever involved in this community, really, it was just sort of like a bit of Spyro, a bit of Crash Bandicoot, maybe a few Pokemon games and whatever. And actually, this has like really taught me the lesson of, wow, there are really some hidden gems in, you know, a sea of kind of mediocre and stuff. And I love that events like this help us sort of uncover what those games are. So yeah,
as I say, no, Disney Channel, yeah, that's a good bunch of games in there. I mean, you know, there's games probably, I dare say, from Cartoon Network shows as well that could probably be eligible. I mean, one that leaps to mind for some reason, I don't know why, I never played it. I remember putting it on because my partner's got a modded 3DS, and I put on a Game Boy Advance game for her, and I think it was Teen Titans, and I was like, oh that's Cartoon Network. So we've not had any Cartoon Network games so far as I'm aware at this stage. So this is a perfect opportunity if somebody wanted to do that, or the code.
Interesting you mentioned that as well.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Because the no, I was just gonna say the people who made Crayola Treasure Adventure, which is a supercharge on this channel.
Very good.
Just thought I'd throw that out there. Some masterful artwork. You know, whoever made that background deserves a raise. But that same company also made Cartoon Network Racing,
Okay.
which, yeah, is a DS game. But I was sort of looking at that being like, one, I've never heard of that, and two, I've never heard of anyone playing it. So I'm like, I'd really love to see what that game is, what it entails, that kind of thing. Not sure it would work so well as like a triple charge, but maybe as a one-on-one type deal. But yeah, sorry. As soon as you said Cartoon Network, that thought came back to me.
No, it's alright. As I say, I'm happy that we can expand on that a little bit. So yeah, no, anything like that, Cartoon Network, like Teen Titans, Cartoon Network Racing. What was the other one I mentioned? Teen Titans. I know Codename Kids Next Door was the one I was going to mention as well, because I remember there was a game based off that. There's probably games based off Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy. Who knows? There's dozens there.
So much.
Absolutely.
I mean, there was a whole Cartoon Network website full of Flash games back in the day. I mean, maybe not so gung-ho on Flash games, because I know, no spoilers, but we do have some ideas regarding that. But,
yeah,
you know, there's definitely some ideas we can use for this Square Rally as well.
As I say, I certainly won't say no to Flash games, but I would certainly be more leaning towards let's try and keep those for another day type of thing.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
like, you know, if somebody was really passionate about wanting to do a Flash game, then I'd be like, okay, all right, we'll talk about it. But
yeah,
that's something to talk about later on.
Of course.
So yeah, there's that, and then there's also probably games that people may have missed out from Nickelodeon actually. So there's probably some Nickelodeon games that we never got round to that people might want to play. I don't know what ones were missed. Maybe there was some Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl, maybe. I think was one.
Yeah.
That I don't think got played, so that you could probably do that one. There's probably some Nicktoons Racing 3 or 4 by now. They seem to come out every year or two. So
yeah.
There's.
I mean, I personally wouldn't be upset if we never saw Nicktoons Racing again. We saw it far too much.
Square Rally. Yeah. Just anything. Actually, no. Here's a good one. There was a new Rugrats game that came out. I think it was late last year. I think it's called like Adventures in Toyland or something like that. It's in 2D. You'd have to buy it from Steam, but it actually looks quite good, and I've got it on my Steam wish list, so it's definitely something I'm going to get around to buying. But it was just something I just remember thinking, oh yeah, that's a Nickelodeon game. There you go, Rugrats. Yeah, Rugrats got a new game in 2024. So there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And speaking of games, so the next point I was going to make is games, and we sort of touched upon this with the Flash games, is games basically we're really lenient in terms of what people will be playing in this event. So games are allowed, the games allowed are up to basically our discretion. If we feel like it's something that does not fit this event, then hey, we'll chime in and go, choose something else, please. But like I said, we're fairly lenient when it comes down to it. We're also allowing video games based off sports and sports-type events shown on television, such as motorsports like Formula 1, which we'll touch on more fairly soon, IndyCar, as well as other sports so like FIFA, UFC, and even sports entertainment and pro wrestling stuff, such as like WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan, WCW, ECW. World's your oyster in that regard. We do have games that aren't banned for this event, and the hardest ban is on games that were either already video games before they became TV shows, or had games and TV shows that were developed in tandem, so at the same time. So in particular, I've got a small list here of ones that really could clarify, because I remember we had some people during the interview segments which won't have aired by the time this has gone up, but they have mentioned certain games and I've had to go, sorry, that one's not allowed. So for example, Pokemon wouldn't be allowed because obviously it was a game before it was a TV show. Fallout, Twisted Metal, Halo, Super Mario, Sonic, Gangs of London, Tekken, Angry Birds, League of Legends, Castlevania, Cuphead, Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat, Skylanders, Taken the Power of Juju. Now that's one that was actually developed in tandem, so both the show and the game were developed at the same time, so we've had to sort of look at that and go, ooh, where do we stand on that one?
I was going to mention that one if you didn't bring it up, because I remember Gianni and I debating that one hard during Nickelodeon, so it's just...
Yeah, unfortunately, I've decided that basically because it was developed in tandem, I'm going to lean towards, well, it wasn't a show before it was a game, and it wasn't a game before it was a show. You know, it's a bit of a grey
therefore
area.
It was nothing. It was
nothing. Yeah.
It's not I think therefore I am. It's I think both therefore I'm neither.
Exactly. Yeah. And then on top of that, some other ones that are also on that ban list: Tomb Raider, Viva Pinata, which many people didn't realise was a show before it was a game, which I always found very interesting. So it's a game before it was a show, rather. Sorry, not a show before it was a game. Otherwise, it'd be on the list. It would be off this list.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
So no, Viva Pinata, not playable. There's a Devil May Cry show coming at some point this year, so obviously Devil May Cry is out. Earthworm Jim, Last of Us, because of course that's got a big show going on at the moment on HBO. Inazuma 11, and of course Like a Dragon, which most people would know as Yakuza, is also off the list.
Like a dragon, flaming for the very first time. Like a dragon. Sorry.
No, you're all good. So, one other clause we have enacted is a hardcore no repeat clause. So, we've had no repeat clauses play in previous events, but this is the first time that this clause has been in a, and I say hardcore no repeat clause because that's what it is. So basically, if a game is played in the event by anyone at any stage, it is off the table for the rest of the event. So if, for example, by the time this video goes up, you'll have seen we've done a series of 3 superchargers to promote Television Takeover, or at least they'll be coming up. One of those games is The Weakest Link. So if someone were to play The Weakest Link in one of their round 1 matches as part of a triple charge. So the weakest link, the PS1 or PS2 version, for example, cannot be played again. It is gone. We're doing this primarily to combat the potential for repeat games, as we've seen in previous events where we've either had a game that gets really overplayed, say Pixar Panic with Toy Story 2, or with Nickelodeon, there wasn't one that really got overplayed, but there was, as you mentioned, Nicktoons Racing. Multiple different versions got played, so it was like PS1, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color.
That's how they skirted around that, I think, because it was like once per round, and then they were like, oh, well, what about all these different versions?
And that's where I'm sitting here and going, no, I'm putting my foot down and saying, no, if it's the same game just on a different fucking console, no. it's the same game. Like, if it's got a different title, say, like, I don't know, Weakest Link versus Weakest Link 2 Electric Boogaloo, like, obviously that's a different game. I'm going to sit there and go, can you play something else that's not fucking Weakest Link? If you can't, then I'll be like, right, fine. But as long as it's a different title, as long as it's not just going, well, we played Weakest Link on PlayStation, why don't we just do it on Game Boy? And it's like, if there even is a Game Boy, which there probably is, who knows? Yeah. So, hardcore, no repeat clause. And another clause that we've agreed to is to forego mandatory games, particularly pertaining to the Bronze Final and more so the Grand Final in particular. We felt that this really wouldn't work in this event, and frankly, I think you and I are both in the same boat with this, is that we both agree it's better for all involved when players can actually pick and agree upon their own games and goals rather than having them, set for them by the hosts. I think it encourages more creativity when they get to choose their own games rather than being forced into, right, here's the 3 games you're going to play, make some goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in previous Square Rallies, what's kind of happened is, like, I mean, the whole event is great normally, but generally I do tire of, like, seeing the same game and same kind of goal repeated over and over again. And I think the community as a whole is often a lot more, like, creative and, has more ideas than maybe, are often given credit for and stuff. So I think part of what we're doing here as well is, like, really encouraging people who, I mean, maybe they want to do a Square Rally of their own someday, maybe they want to, like, have more of their ideas listened to or whatever. Like, we're really inviting you now to, like, kind of, sort of step up, like, present an idea and kind of show us what you've got, really,
Precisely.
We're really open to sort of different, like, voices and not just the, as much as I like hosting and as much as I'm sure Kiwi likes hosting, we do like different voices on the channel as well. So if you're new, don't think that in any way means that your voice is, like, less valued in that as well. Just step up, be confident, and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see some new faces hosting events. I know I won't say who it is or what it is, but somebody did contact me about hosting something, and I mentioned, hey, look, I've got this hosting gig for TV Takeover that I'm doing at the moment. Let me sort that out, and I'll come back to you and we'll talk a bit more about it. So maybe I might play co-host with that person just as a sort of, like, veteran kind of guiding this new person, potentially. We'll see. But yeah, so we'll see how that transpires in the future. But as far as TV Takeover is concerned, so one of the things now that I've got here listed in front of me is the structure of the event concerned. So it will be structured as follows. So initially what you'll see is one video which will feature an initial timed round playing the 1996 Formula 1 game on PlayStation 1, with all 12 players doing a set number of 3 practice laps, which the footage of that may or may not be shown, depending on the circumstances. We'll see. That will be followed then by a 4th and final timed lap, which will be shown. The times will be obscured, so the results will be a surprise to the audience and for the drivers themselves, the players, as they go along doing their laps. The laps posted by each player will determine which group they get placed into for round 1, which we'll touch on in just a brief moment. One twist, however, because we can say this now that we've actually recorded all of the lap times. One twist that we decided upon for the timed round, the squares in exceedingly fast cars round, is that we decided midway through, wouldn't it be interesting, because this game's based off the 1995 Formula 1 season where there was actually 13 cars in play, we still had a spare car. Wouldn't it be interesting if we brought in a 13th party, a 13th entrant, to see if we can raise the stakes a little bit? We'll just say, hey look, this person's a surprise entrant, you know, we've sought them out and gone, hey, we reckon you'd be a good fit for this, come in and do this if you want. And now we can turn around to the remaining players and say, hey look, there's a 13th person here, one of you's going to go home. We're really upping the stakes here, because previous matches that we've used to determine group orders, such as the bubble blowout round in Quickelodeon and the lightning round in Pixar Panic, have not actually eliminated the lowest ranked player. They've sort of just, you know, obviously kept all players in. So we thought, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if we do something different this time around, so that people would really need to try and actually perform the best lap times possible. So yeah, we have, you know, started out with a 12 person field, expanded by 1 to include a 13th. So yeah, obviously at the end of that round, player ranked in 13th and last will be eliminated. And then just basing it a little bit further on that, so one other little point of information that I've also included, and you'll see this in the event itself, there'll be a clip at the end where it does like a special sort of F1 style lineup, and you'll see that there's players who'll have numbers that will be in like blue circles, and for anybody who doesn't know what that is, so what I've done is actually implemented a seeding system for fun. So all entrants have been given a seeding number based off of a combination of factors, such as how many matches they've had on the channel overall, whether or not they performed well in previous Square Rally events, whether or not they've won any prizes such as controllers or trophies, and then based off those criteria, each player has been given a secret score. I can actually reveal now, at the time of recording, the seed order in the following order. So bear with me 1 second, I will just bring up the seed order. So
nice.
This will be interesting for you because you've not heard this. This is the first time you can officially confirm that you've not heard this.
It's also exciting because I can see the reflection in your lenses as well. So I'm like, oh, what's he going to say?
So we'll do it in reverse order. So seed number 13 is Radiant. Primarily because at the time of recording, Radiant has had one match. It hasn't gone up yet, so it's kind of hard to quantify, you know, where they stand in terms of performance. That match may or may not have gone up by the time we have uploaded this, so that won't change the seeding. But at the time of recording, she's seed number 13. Seed number 12 is Fifth Doctor 5 Jade. Only reason being, has only had one match, has gone up before now. That was the Muppets Monster Adventure. So, yeah, as you know, she put up a good performance in that one. Unfortunately, still came last place. But hey, she's one seed position above Radiant, so that's something. Seed number 11 is King of the Pigoos. Only reason being is because he's had fairly respectable performances in the two Jackbox Gauntlets. Those are the only two events that he has done before now. He was our 13th entrant. He was our one that we sought out and said, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if you came in to disrupt the proceedings and made people go, oh, and really sweat to try and put in a lap. And he agreed gracefully and said, yeah, no, I'll come in and do it. Was a bit worried about technological issues, but we made it work. And yeah, he's seed number 11 based off his two gauntlet performances. Seed number 10 is Dreadclaw Dragodon. Now, Dreadclaw, the reason he ranks higher than King, he's actually done multiple day Square Rally before, being Pixar Panic. Didn't make it past round 1, but, you know, he's still done a multiple day event, which King hasn't done. He's also done more matches now than King has done in total, so by that logic, he is seed number 10. Seed number 9 is CJC. Only reason being he has done both single day events such as the Jackbox Gauntlet, and he's also done multiple day events such as Pixar Panic and the Quickelodeon. Only issue is because of the way that the secret scoring works, because he is currently at the time of recording in possession of the Poison controller, that does mark him down considerably. So as a result, he is seed number 9. So by that logic, seed number 8 is the person who beat him to give him the Poison controller, that being Midnight Heart, who at this point I would say is somewhat his nemesis, considering how those two go on in matches. Midnight Heart never really had tremendous success in Square Rallies, round 1 several times in 1999, in Quickelodeon, in Pixar Panic, and then most recently 8th place in Jackbox Gauntlet 2. So based on that, and based on not having the Poison controller, she's just above Chris. In seed number 7 is Coyote. So she has been a semi-finalist in Jackbox Gauntlet before, and also then 5th in the most recent one. Was previously holding the Supercharged controller. That loss of the Supercharged controller has knocked her down considerably. She would have been quite high otherwise, but unfortunately because of that now, she's now in the middle of the field, which, you know, is still respectable. Seed number 6 is Skater. Only reason that he is considerably lower than others is because he's been somewhat inactive. Not through his own fault, you know, he's just been busy, as we all are sometimes. In the 1999, he reached the semi-final second chance triple charge, came 3rd in that. Didn't appear then in Quickelodeon or Pixar Panic or Gauntlet 1 or Gauntlet 2, and then all of a sudden he comes back in Supercharge. Oh, and now all of a sudden he's one half of the tag team controller holders, and by the time this has gone up, he's now a Golden Egg trophy holder and the Crystal Dragon trophy holder, so that's boosted him up.
He is on a vengeance campaign.
He is on a revenge tour, absolutely, and it's working well for him because he's now seed number 6. I mean, if it hadn't been for a bulk of that, I think he would have been about seed 8, maybe 9, but he's doing well now at seed number 6, so yeah, fairly respectable effort. Seed number 5 is Connor David. Now that's primarily based off of his second place win in 1999. Did enter Pixar Panic. We'll come to that in a minute. He didn't enter Quickelodeon. He's never been in the Jackbox Gauntlets, never won any prizes, and then he came to Pixar Panic and unfortunately didn't make it out of round 1's triple charge, so that has dampened his run a little bit. I think had he placed higher in that, you would have seen reflected in the seedings that he would have been ever so slightly higher. Seed number 4 is yourself, Mr. Bobblevink. Based off your quarterfinalist performance in 1999, round 1 losers melee in Quickelodeon, where by proxy you finished 6th.
We don't talk about that one.
You finished 8th for the Jackbox Gauntlet number 1, and then in Pixar Panic you were a grand finalist runner-up, which has boosted you considerably. And of course, you were also a Golden Egg trophy holder, so that has boosted you up quite considerably. So you are presently seed number 4. Seed number 3 is Gizmo Cat 11. Did not enter 99 or Quickelodeon. Grand finalist in Jackbox Gauntlet number 1. Round 1 in Pixar Panic. And then he had a really bad slip in Jackbox Gauntlet 2 where he finished 10th out of 12. Ooh. Really big drop from 2nd to 10th.
It's like a rare miss for him. Yeah.
It is a very rare miss. But tag team controller holder, and now recently Crystal Dragon trophy winner, boosted him up quite considerably, up to 3rd.
Wow.
So it's based off of this scoring system that I got, you know, it does wonders winning these prizes in terms of seeding. Seed number 2 is Rexy. Obviously didn't enter the 1999, didn't come in till Quickelodeon, where she won in the grand final. Didn't enter Jackbox Gauntlet 1, came 4th in Pixar Panic, where she was defeated by me. And then she did return for Jackbox Gauntlet 2, where she finished 11th out of 12, and was, I remember, not exactly happy with her performance, but hey, that's the way things roll. But on top of that, Golden Egg Trophy winner, Supercharged controller holder at this current moment. By the time this goes up, the match for that will have aired, the Kahoot, so she will be in possession of the Supercharged controller. And then number one, obviously the only person I haven't mentioned, is myself, Grand Finalist, 4th place in 1999, Exhibition Match winner in Quickolodeon, Grand Finalist in Jackbox Gauntlet 1, winner of Jackbox Gauntlet 1, 3rd place in Pixar Panic, and then winner of Jackbox Gauntlet 2 then as well, where of course I got the controller, the casual competition controller, still hold that, and me and Skater, of course, are the only 2 people who have held both the Golden Egg and Crystal Dragon trophies, so yeah. Having both of those, boosts you up considerably. So those are the seeds.
The interesting thing I get with that as well is that, like, I think some of the people on the lower half of that seeding could easily vie for, like, the top 3 or 4 spots if they did more tournaments, or more square rallies and more, like, races and events and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, I think sometimes activeness, speaks wonders. But then you have someone like Gizmo Cat there on spot number 3, and while he's active now, he wasn't there right at the very start. So no. I think he himself is proof that you really can, knuckle down, win a few campaigns, and
and ascend
boost
ladder,
your stats all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure maybe you have worked on it, but it'll be interesting to see Square to Charge community as a whole, like those seedings. But
there will
maybe
eventually
someday
be like a seeding or a power ranking system that I'll actually probably have on the wiki at some page, like an overall system eventually one day. I did have one on the old wiki before we moved to Mirrorhees, but since moving to Mirrorhees, I haven't rebuilt it, and it takes a lot of calculations and mathematics, to the point that I have to call in Kat to help me sometimes, because I'm sitting there going, is my maths correct? And she'll tell me, no, you've added that wrong. So it's usually a 2-person job. But yeah, so that's the seeding system, which of course, you can decide who, watching at home, which seed you think is going to do well at this juncture. If you think it's going to be seed number 1, maybe you think it's going to be seed number 13, that might go all the way. And then you get to see, how well they perform throughout the rest of the event. So it's just something fun.
I thought get in touch with Betfred about running a bookies for these events.
Betfred, I love that.
Who's your money on?
So then, now that we've got the seeding system, and of course you'll have the ranking based off the times in the F1 qualifying, you then move on to round 1. So in round 1, there will be 12 players. They'll be split into 4 groups consisting of 3 players each. And instead of making everybody face off one-on-one, as we have done in the past, each group will face each other in a single triple charge match, which is how we refer to matches featuring 3 players. The winner and runner-up of each match will advance to the next round, and the person in 3rd place will be eliminated. So from there, you go to round 2, which is the quarterfinal stage. The remaining 8 players will be drawn randomly against players they haven't already faced, with each winner from round 1 facing a different runner-up from round 1. They will face off in 4 one-on-one matches, with the winner of each match advancing to the next round and the loser of each match being eliminated. And then you come to round 3, the semi-final stage. The remaining 4 will once again be drawn randomly, with a preference for players who they've not already faced. They will be facing off then in 2 one-on-one matches, with the winner of each advancing to the grand final and the losers advancing to the bronze final. Now, this is where I cut in very briefly here to disrupt from the flow, because at this point we may have a brief interlude where a special exhibition match may take place during the middle of the event to provoke the final round, the final 2 matches. This match would be a tag team match pitting a team of the 2 grand finalists against another team of the 2 bronze finalists. This would not alter the outcome of the rest of the event, and if it were to go ahead, would be done for just the sake of fun, to promote the final 2 matches, and also to see which pair of opponents could coexist as a team, rather than trying to change any outcomes in terms of, bronze finalists win, so they're actually in the grand final instead of the actual. No, it doesn't work like that. So then we come back to the bronze final and the grand final. So in the bronze final, the losers from the semi-final stage will face each other in a one-on-one match. However, unlike previous bronze finals where we have pit both players against each other in one game, the bronze finalists this time around will both pick a game and a goal each, and a coin flip will determine which game is played first. Like previous Square Rally events, the match will be run marathon style, with both games being played back to back, and the match will briefly be paused while each contender switches games. And then when it comes to the grand final, the winners from the semi-final stage will face each other in a one-on-one match, and as seen in previous grand finals, we will have pit both players against each other in one match. The grand finalists will pick their own games and goals. Each player will pick one game each, so player 1 will pick one, player 2 will pick the other, and then a third one must be agreed upon by both parties. The third game will then, the 3 games will then be drawn upon randomly to determine which order they'll be played in. So you might get player 1's game goes first, then followed by the shared game as the second stage, and then the third stage is actually player 2's game. It might be altered depending on how randomly it gets drawn. So yeah, and then like previous Square Rally events, the match will be run marathon style with both games being played back to back. The match order will of course be briefly paused while each contender switches games. So from there, the winner of the grand final will either be crowned as the brand new STC casual competition control holder, or will successfully defend it, with this event counting as a successful defense on their record. Additionally, one other clause I have noted here, this may not happen, but I've included it just in case. Other controllers may make appearances in this event. For example, if the STC tag team controller holders find themselves in the potential promotional exhibition match and are paired together, they may defend their controllers in that match. Otherwise, it's off the table. The STC Poison controller will be able to be offloaded in any match at any stage of the event and awarded in any of those matches. So currently it's held by CJC. If he so wishes, he can use this triple charge in round 1 to either offload that onto one of his opponents, whoever they may be, during round 1, provided he qualifies. And then of course the supercharged controller can also potentially be defended should the holder find themselves in either the bronze final or the grand final. We'll talk about that if and when that happens. So yeah, that is the full structure of TV Takeover, as well as some finer details. This event, will start relatively sooner than later, so please keep an eye out on the channel for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think people will really enjoy the event. I think it's going to be something a little bit different compared to what we've done before, at least for multi-day events. Can't really compare it to single-day stuff like the Jackbox Gauntlet because it's a bit harder to. But yeah, in terms of previous multiple-day events, I think it'd be quite different. We'll see how well it goes. Maybe there'll be some bits that don't quite work, and maybe there'll be some bits that people would like to adapt into future ones. But yeah, any thoughts on your end, Mr. Bobblebink?
Just generally, I'm really looking forward to this Square Rally, to be honest. I think it's going off sort of the formula we've done for like previous ones, but is like building on it in a very interesting way. I'm very excited to see how the bronze final will sort of play out and work as well, because I think with a name like the Bronze File,
the
Bronze Final, yeah,
Bronze File, yeah,
Bronze File. There we go. Casey, make a meme out of that, please. With a name like the Bronze Final, like, it does deserve to be a big match, because I think making it that far in any kind of event is still a great accomplishment. And I think in past we've sort of not always given it the celebration and love that it's deserved.
Absolutely.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. And also just the round 1 all being triple charges, that's going to be quite interesting, and I think will serve to make the format different and who knows? It could end up kind of dictating or maybe shaping how we do Square rallies going forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see how it all goes, and just excited to get these races done and to watch it all back, obviously, because that's the other part that I think is underestimated, is actually like seeing it as a fan as well, even though I'm in it, weirdly. But
yeah, I mean that's half the reason why it's been structured personally by me, as as someone who watches these, and I look back on previous events where we've had a lot of one-on-one matches, particularly in round one, where it's taken up a huge chunk of time, and it's sitting there like, are we still in round one? Oh, okay, cool. And then it's just like, I remember in a previous event, I won't name names, or I won't say which event it was, but somebody said to me, holy fucking shit, are we still doing that bloody tournament? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, dude, I'm so bored of seeing that fucking tournament pop up. Like, can you do something else instead? And to be fair, that we didn't actually have superchargers running during the course of that tournament, which is still the intention here. We will actually be trying to run superchargers, rapid races, possibly even versus Voyage if any of those are available.
Yeah, that's something quite different about this event.
Yeah, we want to try and keep those going throughout this event, so that there's a lot of content on offer, so people aren't just going to be sitting there going, oh, it's TV Takeover this, TV Takeover that. No, we want to have multiple avenues of entertainment for people to come along and watch, so it's not just going to be Television Takeover dominating. In fact, Television Takeover as a whole, if my calculations are correct, will only be somewhere in the range of 14 to 16 matches long.
Yeah.
So it's relatively short.
It's kind of ironic that it's called Television Takeover then, but it's not really taking over the channel in the way previous Square rallies have. But that is something I'm actually pretty happy about as well. Kind of slipped my mind earlier, but yeah, like previous Square rallies, I think I remember even when we were doing Quickelodeon, I was like, guys, please feel free to, like, if you have races you want to do in the meantime, don't feel you need to hold them off because we're doing this. Like, run those ideas, get that content made,
Yeah.
Let's get it up, let's get it out there. Because, variety is the spice of life. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's just it. But it's just, yeah, we want to try and keep as much different avenues of videos flowing through the channel, but also in terms of we just also want it not to be completely dominated by one particular thing, and that's also the reason why we've gone for brevity. I think people may be it depends on the situation, but some people would say quality is better over quantity. Some people might say quantity is better over quality. I think in this situation, it's a case of I'd rather have 14 to 16 quality matches over 30 something matches that maybe half the time don't hit as well, especially considering if it was 30 something matches and we've got a no repeat clause, we're going to run out of games quite quickly, whereas in 14 matches it's not going to be a problem at all. So
yeah, well, that's the thing as well with a community like ours, with people as talented as our roster and stuff, there's no reason why we can't have quality and quantity in terms of videos.
Oh, exactly.
Not in terms of like this particular Square rally, but in terms of like, superchargers, rapid races, things to go up between as well. Like, there's a lot of great people in the community with a lot of great ideas. So, as I say again, just to repeat the same hymn I've been singing for 2 years, like, get out, make those ideas. It'll be wonderful.
Absolutely. Right, well, with that in mind, have you got any final remarks you want to...
I'm just really looking forward to this Square rally, to be honest. I think the way things have gone with it so far in terms of organisation, the excitement on, our Juicy Square home server and stuff, it's like, it's just been really nice and optimistic, and I think we're in a really good place with it, and could shape up to be the best Square Rally we've done yet.
As I say, you're going to pad my ego there if you call it the best one. But no, it's certainly a case of I really hope it goes well. I think this could be a good new start for Square Rallies moving forward, both in terms of structure, in terms of the people that we're introducing, but also, we've got other events coming up in 2025. As you mentioned, there's one potentially to do with Flash games, might be coming around the corner. There might be one to do with horror games to do with coming around the corner. So really, it's all about kickstarting 2025 off, doing it right and going, hey, let's get some really good matches in from the off. Oh, and of course, dare I forget, potentially a third Jackbox Gauntlet as well. So 2025, yeah, it's shaping up to be a really good year for us, and I think TV Takeover is, I don't want to say a good start to it, because we've already had a good start with Supercharged, with Rapid Races, with Versus Voyage. So, as I say,
X to play as well.
X to play, yeah.
Premiering, yeah.
Absolutely.
Seeing the engagement that's gotten has been really wonderful to see, because that was a long time in the making as well.
Yeah, and Triangle to Talk hopefully maybe might come back sooner or later.
Oh yeah, that'll be making a comeback. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
working on some ideas.
Combining all of those and looking at the year as a whole, yeah, I don't want to say this is a good start to the year, but I think it's a good continuation for the year, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, well, with that in mind, I think we'll wrap it up here. So if you are watching this and you have any questions for us as hosts of TV Takeover, feel free to either let us know down below in the YouTube comments section, or you can tell us or ask us your questions either via DM on Discord or on the Juicy Square Home server if you are in that server. But yeah, otherwise, we will have TV Takeover kicking off relatively soon. I don't know if this is going to come out before or after the exhibition matches, so they may or may not have aired by this point. The 3 matches, I won't say who's won what, but yeah, we had I think it was Wallace and Gromit, Noddy, Weakest Link, 3 brilliant matches that may or may not have aired by this stage. If they have, then you know who won. If you haven't, then if they haven't aired, then look forward to those. They are cracking matches.
I know who won regardless.
Sorry.
What's that?
No, go on. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I know who won regardless.
You know who won regardless. Yeah, I know who won regardless too. No, I just realised that I said they were cracking matches after I said one of the games was Wallace and Gromit, and I just realised they made a Wallace and Gromit reference by going, they're cracking matches, Gromit.
Oh, I see. Sorry. I was scared you were going to be like, oh gosh, I just realised I've not been recording.
Oh, no, I've been recording this whole time, don't worry about that. No, I just suddenly realised I was making a Wallace and Gromit reference when I said cracking, and I'm like, oh my god, it's nearly 5 o'clock in the morning.
Cracking matches, Bobbledink.
Cracking matches, Bobbledink. Yeah. There you go, even do the hand motions, yeah. Oh god, but yeah, that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see you in TV Takeover, which by this point should be kicking off fairly soon. So until then, we shall see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.